Hello, everybody.
Commissioner Sarge.
How are you?
Good. 7 o'clock. I think we have our quorum. I will call the Judiciary Committee meeting of December 30th, 2020 to order. We have no claims this evening. Our first item is number 1, communication number 2020-503. Dan Olson, Commissioner, District 5, requesting Council of Commissioners to address the following problem with the Butte-Silver Ordinance 6.16. Livestock and domesticated hoofed animals is currently written is unenforceable by BSB and does not interface seamlessly with MCA 81-4-201-81-4-401 to allow the state to provide enforcement. We're in the same room and Commissioner Olson is behind me. I'm going to allow him to speak first. I'm going to use my mic.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Not very well.
You can come down here, I want the chair.
Hi, folks. What this is about is it was due to an incident that happened up in the Beef Trail area, and I was trying to work with county attorney and community enrichment to get this straightened out so that they could actually enforce the policy, and they weren't able to come to an agreement there. And what the problem is that there is a mismatch basically in borders between the Butte-Silver livestock at large, or no livestock at large area, which is basically you can't have livestock running in the streets of Butte. The residents up there are within that boundary, but it doesn't. There's kind of a gray area between the state and Butte-Silver because there's an area that is not combined or contained in either location. And part of the problem is that the ordinance right now states that animal control will take the livestock under control and board and feed them at the animal shelter. And even one cow would throw them over the edge. And so what I'd like to do is get that so that it actually is enforced. My idea is that what should happen is we should redo the ordinance such that they could hire a rental cowboy with a stock truck to go and pick up the livestock and take it to the livestock auction, for instance, during the period that they're being boarded, and then when the livestock owner wants to get his livestock, he has to pay the amount that it took to round them up and board them during that time period. So that's my idea. I don't know how that it'll end up, but at least make it such that we don't have to have a cowboy for community enrichment in the animal control area. My hope is that if we enforce this once, it won't have to be enforced again, and just make it so that if it's necessary, it is enforceable, and it can be managed by Butte-Silver. So I'll turn it back over to Brenda if anybody has any questions. Mr. Callahan, I think.
Commissioner Callahan.
I suggest that we appoint a commissioner as the cowboy.
Who has a horse right now, Mr. Callahan?
Commissioner Frederickson.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman McDonough, and thank you, Commissioner Olson. You know, I kind of got drug into this well over a year ago, because I have some friends that have been affected. Essentially, you have in the beef trail area, you have someone that's running cattle on property that's not theirs. And towards the end of the year, and I'm probably screwing up all this terminology because my family's from Walkerville and Centerville. I've barely even seen a cow. But so I couldn't be the cowboy. The cows, when they run out of food, when they're grazing, then they break into people's yards and destroy all their things outside. Solar lights and that sort of thing are getting trampled. And they're eating it. And I mean, they're destroying fences to get into these people's property to eat their lawn. And you have someone and it's not enforceable to like really go in for Butte-Silver Bow to go in and, as Commissioner Olson said, to round them up. So it's a serious problem, and and I'm sure County Attorney Joyce can get into the legality of it, but you have, an ordinance within Butte-Silver Bow that prevents the state maybe from coming in and getting it. There's some sort of misinterpretation of the law. So I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, the only correction I have, Mr. Frederickson, is that I think what it was is the landowner that was leasing out the land wasn't maintaining the fences, and neither was the rancher, and so that they were didn't have much problem breaking through the fences. Cows will break through fences, but this was a problem that the landowner wasn't taking care of the fences. I'll turn it back to Mr. McDonough.
Thank you. Any other further questions or comments? Commissioner Sarge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'd like to hear what County Attorney Joyce would have to say. I know there's we ran into this before where, state law tells people they got to fence the cows out. The cows have the right of way, and so it's a fine line. I know north of Walkerville, Callahan can probably attest to, there's individuals up there that kind of let their cattle run. So I kind of like to hear what the county attorney would have to weigh in on.
Okay, County Attorney Joyce.
I don't want to weigh in. I'm just kidding. So what I recall when this was first discussed quite some time ago, is that there was a miscommunication with some of these property owners out there that we in Butte-Silver Bow had a herd district, and we don't. And that is something that you can establish, but we don't have one. But we are an open range state, so you are supposed to, fence livestock out. But I think the issue that these people were having is that they did try to do that. They put up fences, but as Commissioner Frederickson indicated, that there were cows that were destroying fences even though they had tried to fence them out. So there was quite a bit of discussion with the Animal Services Department. And I think there was supposed to be maybe a collaboration with the Department of Livestock and maybe a contract entered into between Butte-Silver Bow and the Department of Livestock for them to be able to take if livestock was causing problems and destroying other people's property, that they could round them up and they'd have a place to hold them. That obviously we don't have those facilities available at the animal shelter. So I think it would be a good idea probably to maybe hold this in abeyance and have representatives from animal control come to the judiciary and explain what they have done and what their intention was in regard to this issue. I know they met with some of the landowners when this issue came up, like Commissioner Frederickson indicated it's been some time ago now. But anyway, that's what I would suggest so that we could try to decide whether the ordinance needs to be amended or whether there can be a contract with the Department of Livestock to try to address the issue.
Thank you. Commissioner Callahan, did you?
Thank you, Chairman McDonough. You know, Eileen, I just curious, you know, Commissioner Walker here a couple of years ago, his grandkids, his horses, they had a couple ponies that they got out and they were walking down Excelsior Street, and the animal shelter, they did deal with those. So is that a different situation, or? They did arrest him and take him, and he had to go bail him out of jail.
County Attorney Joyce.
Commissioner Callahan, I'm not sure what happened in that circumstance, but they probably do have the ability to round up a couple
Okay.
horses like that. But if you've got a herd of cows, they don't.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
Any other further discussion? Commissioner Sarge?
That gets my thought. If I recall, several years ago, we had an issue about I believe it was a horse, or it was an animal that wasn't being taken care of, that Butte-Silver Bow took away from an individual in, animal cruelty. It cost Butte-Silver Bow a fortune because they took it out to the rodeo club and they had to feed it. So I guess this is something else, should be taken into account. Also, is there going to have to be a budget increase? If we talk about this, I don't know if you remember that County Attorney Joyce or not, when we had that horse out of the it was out there a long time, and then also trying to recoup the money from the individual was almost impossible. So this is something else we should probably weigh in about. I hate to put cost in there, but it's it's an issue.
For sure. Any other discussion? Commissioner Fischer.
Thank you, Chairman McDonough. Although I don't serve on this committee, I do have some experience with cattle and, the difference between cows and bulls and steers and heifers and things like that. And I think County Attorney Joyce is on the right track. Montana has some really crazy open range laws, and they vary throughout different areas, whether it's out Basin Creek towards the reservoir or Basin Creek out towards Copper Mountain Park and up into Beef Trail. So I think you're on the right track. You got to get the Department of Livestock out of Helena, and you've got to get the Butte-Silver Bow Humane Society together and figure out what guidelines got to be taken care of to do this, because I think we're going into some unforsaken ground here by trying to do something we know very little about. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing else further, we'll hold this in abeyance and will be brought up here in 2 weeks. Commissioner Fischer, you're the new chairman. Or Commissioner Anderson, excuse me.
I am not. That will be Commissioner Anderson will be filling your shoes.
Thank you. Next, number 1, resolution number 2020-77. A resolution authorizing and approving the transfer of real property, generally described as a portion of Certificate of Survey 1037B-RB, Tract BE of S26, Township North, or Township 3 North, R09 West, within the city county of Butte-Silver Bow, Montana, the warehouse distribution of Butte LLC in accordance with provisions of Butte-Silver Bow Municipal Code, for providing for an effective date here in County Attorney Joyce.
Mr. Chairman, this resolution is ready to be moved to final reading. It involves the sale of property out in the Tiffit.
Okay. Any discussion? Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Chairman McDonough. And I said it in the last meeting. It's a privilege to work with you on this committee. And I'll make a motion that we move resolution number 2020-77 to final reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carries. Move to final reading. All right, thank you everyone for your hard work and effort these last 2 years. I think we've got a lot done, and good luck to everyone moving forward. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Got a motion behind me from Commissioner Olson. We are adjourned. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you for everything you've done.